Back on the Chamber Report, brand new member of the Chamber, and Chamber members, time for you to listen up because these guys can help you. The business that they have is called Lift, and with us is Pete Ockuly and Randy Smsal. Guys, welcome to the Chamber. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
All right, so the question is, Pete, who is Lift and what the heck do you guys do?
Yeah, well, we're the Leadership Institute for Teams, LIFT. Get it?
There you
See
go.
what we do there? Yeah, we elevate people. That's what we do. You know, that's actually our core principle is we elevate people because we believe that elevates teams. So really what we are is we're a leadership development company. We develop the top leadership in different organizations.
You know, and Chambers had leadership academies through our times. This is important stuff. And if you're watching and you own a business, this might not be about you. This might be about somebody that you identify within your business going, you know, I think that person is somebody that can start to rise up here. Lift can help you lift those people to that level that you are looking for. So again, keep those ears open because we're going to learn more right now. Randy, what are some of the common challenges that are hindering the success of leaders and their organizations?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. You know, one of the things that we often talk about is that productivity goes through people. And so by investing in people, what you're doing is you're giving them the skills, you're preparing the team so that they can be really successful and they can be highly productive and work really well together. We often hear from companies that they have some team dynamics issues or their team's just not as productive as they feel that they could be. Or maybe there's a little bit too much of blame, excuses, and denial occurring inside of the culture, or they're not making the best decisions that they could be making. And so what we do is we help get after some of those dynamics within teams.
Give me an idea of the size of businesses you deal with, small to big, big to small.
Yeah.
That's a great question because we do deal with some 5-person executive teams for some nonprofits. And we are right now, we also are working with a $3.5 billion company right now.
There you go. It's
a nationwide situation. So we run the gamut right now. And really, because it doesn't actually matter how big your company is, how big your organization is, because really what it comes down to is people.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. All right, so Pete, what are some of the key skills and mindsets that leaders need to develop to navigate these challenges successfully?
Yeah, so I guess the way we think about it is we all know this. We know that in order to do great work, we got to understand how great work is done. And a lot of organizations and companies, they do good work, and occasionally they land on great work, but if you really understand kind of the steps involved in doing great work, and so our basic, we kind of use a model that's modeled after Patrick Lencioni's working genius model. Yeah. And essentially what that is Lencioni says there's 6 basic aspects to doing great work. And the first one is, being able to identify what kinds of threats and opportunities are kind of around your organization, right? And then be able to invent solutions. So it's about wondering of threats, what your threats and opportunities are, and then being able to invent solutions. And then you got to be able to discern what solutions are going to be the most likely to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And then what you got to do is skill number 4 is galvanize people, get everybody on board with. And a lot of people skip that step. That's why a lot of organizations fall down because they don't have everybody on board with what needs to get done. And then it's really about making sure everybody gets what they need. We call that enablement. And then you got to have people on your organization that are really good at getting that ball across the goal line. We call that tenacity. So really, the great part of this framework is it spells out the word widget. So it's like wonder, invention, discernment, galvanization, enablement, and tenacity. And if you have those 6 skills and you have people with all, and not everybody doesn't have all those skills,
right? But
if you have those 6 skills and you're aware that those are the 6 components of great work, you can do great work consistently.
You bet, and especially if you've got those split out with your team.
Absolutely.
Because people are going to have different skill sets, but if you have all of those in play, you got a shot of scoring that goal and getting the great, no doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, now, Randy, I've heard that Lyft isn't the only organization on the planet doing this kind of thing. Yeah. What do you think makes you different from some of the other groups who offer that leadership development work?
Yeah, there are a lot of companies that do leadership development work, and one of the things that we often run into or that we often hear is, hey, our people did this great training, and it's not really showing up in their work. And Pete and I have a lot of background in neurobiology or brain science, and so we understand like how to connect training to people's work habits. And so one of the things we really dial in on is how does this training actually really impact their behavior so that the training actually shows up in the work habits that people have. And we have some really specific frameworks that we use that have some tools that help people clarify what it is that they're learning, how to apply that learning. It's very relevant, it's impactful, it's sticky, and it's practical. And we call those our CRISP frameworks.
See, we
So
have a
that's the
lot of
acronym.
acronyms.
We do have acronyms.
You know, we're like full of acronyms. We're full of something. We're definitely full of acronyms.
But our focus is to try to move it from the learning part to the behavior part. And that is a difference that at Lyft we can make.
Yeah, and that's critical. I think, all of us out there have done some sort of training, some sort of seminars, and you leave there with all these ideas, and then 3 days later, it's like, what was that?
What did I learn?
But to actually have a process in place to have those triggers to make sure those things are happening, that's where the gold comes into play, people. All right, Pete, what's at stake for organizations that don't address these challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question. That question comes up all the time, and I kind of answer a question with the question. I would say, okay, well, what's the cost of a bad decision? And I mean that's what I mean to say is that if you don't have a process for good team decision making, you can skip parts of the process, and what's going to happen is you're not going to make the decision that's most optimal for your team. So what's the cost of a bad decision? Or here's another thing, like what's the cost of micromanaging? That's one of the things we really talk with groups about how to elevate ownership and accountability so that you don't have to micromanage people. Well, you and I know that maybe you've had a boss or a supervisor or maybe just a teammate who's kind of a micromanager, and that gets to be exhausting at times. It's things. Or what's the cost of bad team dynamics? It runs people off, or it lowers productivity, or all those kinds of things. So what's at stake? It's like, what are the costs of those things, and what if you can fix those things?
Yeah. Yep. All right, Randy, we got some people out there right now going, how can we learn more about your leadership development programs, and how can they work toward benefiting their business?
Sure. So we have a couple of ways that can happen. One is we have a website, www.liftteams.com. And on our website, we just have contact information, our emails, our phones, and a little bit of information about Lyft. So people can reach us through our website. And then we also have a free learning platform on a website called school.com, and our community that we offer on school.com is a leadership community. It's called On the Way to Unstoppable, and that's where we put a lot of our resources, some videos, some tools, and just ideas about how you can help elevate the teams within your organization. So 2 places you can find us.
I'll tell you what, it's early in 2025. What a great way to start your business year. And it could make 2025 huge for your business year. So these guys can help make it happen. He is Pete Ockuly. He is Randy Smsal. They are with Lyft. And again, Randy, the website?
www.liftteams.com.
That's great. And these guys have done some work with our chamber membership. And chamber members, small, large, all of you can be in play with these guys. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, more on member profiles after this.